Hello, everybody. You know who I am. It's your favorite professor, Profe Kyle. And if you saw the title of the video, you know this is an interview with one of my students. I'm pleased to have, actually, Sebastian, I want to congratulate you. I think you have the record for most years in my classes. So that's one reason why I wanted to have Sebastian on an interview, because I think Sebastian has the record. I believe it's 3 years. But the only thing with Sebastian, though, is that sometimes he took a month or two break, and then sometimes he didn't come to all the classes. But still, it was impressive. It was 3 years. He was dedicated, and yeah, very good student. Always asked me good questions. So everybody, say hello to Sebastian. Sebastian, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, teacher. Thank you, teacher. But I think I'm not just the only one student.
Yeah, well, no, you're good. Yeah, there's a few students that
Nicole
actually.
Ron.
Well, no, yeah.
Nicole
Actually,
Ron.
well, you don't know Sebastian, but Nicole, yeah, he told me sad. Of course, it's always sad. One of my students that's been with me for a long time. They gotta take a break, or they can't take classes anymore, or they're happy with their English. They say they can't take classes anymore. I said, Nicole, last month he told me, Profe, I'm very busy. I can't take classes anymore. So yeah, I think you, Nicole, Monica, yeah, those are some of the ones that were in the classes the most. So yeah, but I think if I did my research, I think you still might be number one. But yeah, you're right. Maybe Nicole is right there, close. I'm not too sure.
Yes.
So maybe let's introduce you before we go into any more details. So yes, Sebastian, who are you? Where do you live? What do you do?
Okay. Right now, I'm currently live in Bogotá, in Chapinero neighborhood. Right now, I'm working in a newspaper, El Tiempo newspaper. There, I make some articles. Sometimes I'm reporter. Some culture news, politics news. No more. I'm 32 years old.
Yeah. That's good. This is interesting because Sebastian, you're a journalist, and now I have to ask you questions. Normally, you're the person asking questions, and now I'm asking you questions.
Yeah.
The tables have turned. All right. Actually, so Sebastian, he hasn't taken classes with me for I think 2 or 3 months, and I asked him to do the interview, and I noticed that his background is a little bit different. So, well, Sebastian told me quickly before we started the interview that he moved into a new place, which I think is a really big deal because you're living by yourself, right?
Yeah. Before I was living with my parents. I living with my parents around 8 years.
Yeah, long
8 years, 10 years. I don't remember. Yes, but I took the decision to. I made the decision to live by myself.
Yeah. Was it were you planning to live by yourself for a long time, or was this more of a
Yeah,
spontaneous decision?
yeah. Save money. Looking for the best place, because
Yeah.
in Bogota it's difficult to find a cool place to live. It's too difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because you got to find a place that's in a good neighborhood, good price, and then a cool place like you said. And then yeah, that can be difficult in Bogota sometimes because
Yeah,
it could be a nice place but in a bad neighborhood, or it could be in a good neighborhood but the place is not
it's
very
a cool.
nice.
To me,
Yeah,
it's a cool. Chapinero's a cool. It's a cool
yeah,
neighborhood. It's a
yeah,
cool neighborhood. Oh,
I
sorry,
like
teacher,
Chapinero.
my computer is need to charge. Sorry. Let me
Okay.
find.
So Sebastian's gonna plug in his charger. Yeah, I guess for anybody who's watching this, so Sebastian's now in Chapinero. Chapinero is usually the favorite neighborhood for Gringos that go to Bogota.
Yeah,
I usually when I'm in Bogota, I usually stay in Chapinero. That's where I
yeah.
usually
There are
stay.
a lot of services,
Mhm.
restaurants, bars. Yes, a lot of.
Yeah,
It's a
for me,
multicultural
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah, because there's downtown Bogota, but there's a
Yes.
lot of Bogotanos that avoid downtown Bogota because it's kind of dangerous. And for me, Chapinero kind of feels like downtown because it's between the north and it's between downtown. So it's a
Mhm.
good location because you can easily go to the north, you can easily go to downtown. Airport maybe a little bit more difficult, but yeah, it's a good location. It's kind of like
Yes.
in the middle. Obviously,
Mhm.
going to the south is difficult, but if you want to go north downtown, it's a good location right in the middle. So yeah,
Yes, I choose it because my job.
yeah. Is it
Yeah,
closer to
because
work?
yeah, the El Tiempo newspaper is
Mhm.
over 26th Avenue.
Oh, okay, 26th Avenue.
It's
Okay, I'm
it's
trying to think.
pretty
Yeah, yeah,
pretty close. It's pretty
yeah.
close to
Okay,
Avenue.
okay, 26th Avenue. What street? Is the not where you live? Yeah, don't tell people where you live
El
exactly.
Dorado Avenue. El Dorado Avenue.
Okay,
El
okay,
Dorado
okay,
Avenue.
Elder.
El
Okay,
Dorado
all
Avenue.
right, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sebastian, we're ask you some personal questions. I don't think I ever asked you because you're a journalist. How long have you been a journalist? Have you been a journalist ever since you graduated from university? Is that what you
Yeah.
studied in university?
Since 2016.
2016. So in 2016, is that also when you graduated from university?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. Okay. And where did you graduate from? Was it from a big university, a small university? What university did you graduate from?
Central University. It's
I never heard about that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's a normal university.
Uh-huh.
It's a normal.
Yeah. And is it located in I'm guessing in Bogota, right? It's
Yeah,
located?
Bogota.
Yeah. Okay. Downtown or which part of Bogota?
Chapinero.
Oh, Chapinero. Oh, nice. Oh,
Over
see.
Caracas. Over Caracas
Okay.
45.
Oh, I probably seen. I think. Do you if I take Transmillennial, do I pass it? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen. Okay, I think I know which one. I've seen
Near
it a
to
few
the
times.
Piloto University.
Okay,
You
yeah, maybe.
here before?
But does it have a? I think the buildings are kind of well for me they're nice. They're kind of older buildings, more I
Yeah.
guess classical style buildings. Yeah, they seem like nice buildings. Okay. Well, now I know where you went to university. Yeah, I always passed it. Whenever I wanted to go to downtown from Chapinero, I always had to go past the Central University. All
Mhm.
right. And because you studied journalism, is that what you wanted to study ever since you were a teenager, or was it a last minute decision when you graduated from high school?
Yes, definitely. Because I was participating in the created of the newspaper, of the school newspaper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. Actually, I didn't know because yeah, of course, in Canada, United States, they usually have student newspapers, but yeah, it's the first time I've heard that they have it in Latin America as well. So yeah, your high school had a student newspaper, and you were basically the editor in chief.
And I created the radio
Oh, the radio program too.
the radio program. Yeah.
All right. And so, like, were you the radio broadcaster, or were you just writing, like, creating programs, and then other
Like
people would?
kind of podcast.
Oh, kind of a podcast. Okay.
Kind of
Oh,
podcast. Right.
so yeah, it's been your destiny for a long time to be
Yeah.
in journalism and media. All right.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, so you have a bit of experience in both because right now you only do written journalism, right? You don't do
Yes.
any radio journalism, or do you also do a little bit of radio journalism as well?
Write and report. Yes.
Write and report.
Present from the camera. Yes.
Oh, so do you do in front of the camera as well?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Okay.
Not always.
Not always.
Sometimes. No,
Yeah.
Not always.
So your main responsibility right now is more writing articles, but yeah,
Yes.
sometimes they get you to.
I prefer
record.
that. I prefer that because it's pretty nervous to speak
Yeah,
to
speak
speak
in front of the camera.
from the camera. It's pretty nervous for me.
Yeah. I know how you feel. I prefer writing more than making videos. It's not easy making videos, Sebastian. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But you have a few cool jobs because every once in a while you would come to class and you say, "Oh yeah, I had to do a." They sent me to a concert to do a report. Yeah, what was because there were some big ones that you went to. Did you go to Daddy Yankee? Was that one that you went to?
Daddy Yankee concert. Many important. Daddy Yankee concert, Dua Lipa concert. I think Kiss concert.
I went to Kiss one.
Many concerts.
I think you wanted to go. Wasn't it Rosalia? Rosalia was coming, and you wanted to do Rosalia, but they didn't send you to that one.
No. I can't. I can't.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, you can't do Rosalia.
I couldn't.
That would be a good one too. Yeah, Rosalia, that'd be good.
Yeah, that was good. Yes.
All right. So you studied journalism, and now you've been working 6 years, correct? That's what you said. 6 years at
6 years,
El
6 years.
Tiempo. So yeah,
Mhm.
ever since you graduated, you've been in El Tiempo the whole time, or did
No,
you start somewhere else?
I began in a small magazine,
Yeah.
about
Oh,
mechanical
engineering.
engineer.
Okay. And did you know anything about mechanical
Uh,
engineering or nothing?
anything,
Nothing. Nothing.
anything.
Okay.
But
All right.
that was cool. But that was a cool experience because I was reading about technical articles, and that
Mhm.
was great. That was great to me.
A good experience.
Good experience, yes.
Was it boring? But was it boring reading about
At the
technical stuff?
beginning was
Okay.
boring. I was bored for me was
Yeah.
very bored. But
Yeah.
yes, I getting used.
Got used to it, and then yeah. You did your job. And how long were you there for? 1 year, 2 years?
um, 2 years and a half and a
Two
half.
and a half years. 2.5 years.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
2.5 years. And then for the El Tiempo job, was that job that you got through friends? Did you apply for it? How did you get the El Tiempo job?
Influence.
Oh, influence. Oh, you got some power.
Influence.
What, like your influence or somebody else's influence?
The university. A teacher
Okay.
influence.
Okay.
Teacher's
Ah,
influence. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, Sebastian had some brownie points with the teacher, and the teacher said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
yeah.
I got an ex-student. He was really good. Check him
Uh-huh.
out." All right.
I
All
have
right.
to
So
admit,
then,
I'm not a nerd, but I do my best. I do my
yeah,
best.
yeah, yeah. So you're not a nerd, but you
Yes.
you know how to make connections, and you know how to
Mhm.
get good grades. All right.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's good to know. Uh, and you had the influence of your teacher, but did you still have to do the interview? Like, was it your teacher gave gave a recommendation and they immediately hired you, or did they, call you and say, "Hey, Sebastian, this teacher of yours told us that you were good. Come into the building and we're going to give you an interview."
Both recommendation and interview.
Okay. I was
Yes.
wondering because sometimes with those Latin American interviews, there's quite a few interviews. So did you do one interview, two interviews? How many interviews did you have to do?
Sorry.
Yeah, how many interviews did you have to do?
Oh,
One or
two
two?
two
Two?
interviews. Two
Two
interviews.
interviews?
The normal interview with
Mhm.
a person, with the
Yeah.
director of the
Okay.
magazine, and the
Okay.
practical interview. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Right.
I think they do. Well, I think they do those. Maybe it's the same in Canada, United States, but
Uh-huh.
maybe I never really learned about it or did it. I'm not too sure. But yeah, because in Colombia, they do the first interview, which is like get to know you, get to know what your
Mhm.
work experience is, and then they do a second interview, which is kind of like an exam, just to see that you know the stuff you
Yeah.
actually know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we got that in Canada, United States. I never heard that. I don't think I heard about that until I started talking to Colombians, and they
I
said they have
think
to do
depend to
that.
the job because if
Okay.
when you're a journalist, the director or your boss need to
Mm-hmm.
know about how the style, how you write, how
Mm-hmm.
you present, how you speak in public,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
many abilities.
Okay. But because of course you're a journalist, so you probably already had a portfolio of work that you've already done. So do you also show that? Like you show that, and then they make you write a newspaper article about something
Yes, about sport. I
about
remember
sports. Okay.
about the
All right.
sport.
And like how I'm just wondering, I'm curious, how was it? Like, did they send you to a soccer game like Millonarios, and then they said, okay, you're going to Millonarios game, and then you're gonna write an article and you're gonna hand it
Yeah.
in? Or was it like in a tiny, like a high school exam where you're in a desk and they give you a picture and they say, okay, write an article about this?
Actually, that was difficult because I'm not really into the sport. I'm not really
Mhm.
into this kind of news about the
Yeah,
sport. No,
yeah.
I
Uh,
prefer politics, culture.
mhm.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, not sports. So it was a little bit difficult, but you managed to pass the
Hmm.
test. Okay,
Yes,
good. Yeah, yeah. So that's your focus now, is like politics and culture. Those are the two things that, when
politics
you're
and
working
culture.
at the newspaper, they get you to do that. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious because you're a journalist. So I'm not a journalist at all. so how many articles, like per week, how many articles do you usually have to write? Is it 1 article, 2 articles, 3 articles?
Three articles per week.
3 articles per week.
Three
Are they
articles.
are they big articles, small articles, or it kind of depends?
Depends.
All right. Yeah,
I
because when I
have
was in
to I
high,
have to
yeah.
make a big article,
Okay.
but a big investigation, with a big investigation. Maybe it's
That-
a documentary.
Okay. Yeah, like a
Yes.
big investigative report.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. But you have to do one of those per week, or is it like once per month or once every few months?
No,
Those
maybe
big
2 per month.
2 per month. Okay.
2 per month.
And then besides that, you have a few small ones that you have to write.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, the world's changed because of what happened in 2020. Are you still working from home, or are you now at the office doing most of your work?
At office.
Yeah.
At office.
And when did you have to go back? Was it because I think you were in classes when you told us that you had to go back. So yeah, how long ago did you have to go back to the office? Was it a few months ago, a year ago?
Yeah, I think February. At the end of February. At the end.
Yeah, so not too long ago. Were you kind of sad you had to go back to the office, or were you excited?
Yeah, I was excited.
You were excited? You were sad or excited?
Excited.
Yeah.
Yes, I was bored to lock down.
Yeah, to be at home all the time and have nobody to talk to. Yeah.
Yes, that was bored for me.
Yeah, Sebastian seems like a social guy. He seems to like to do things. He likes people. Yeah. Me, Sebastian, I don't like people as much as you. So yeah, for me, it's okay to be at home. It's all right. But yeah, obviously for other people, they like to have other people around. So yeah. And did you go back to the same office that you were at before the pandemic, or it's a different place now?
The same office.
Same desk, same everything?
Same desk, exactly.
Same neighbors, or do you have new neighbors?
No, many clothes.
Many clothes, like clothing, ropa?
Yes, exactly. Many clothes. Her business.
Oh, like lots of businesses closed?
Business. Yes, the business, her clothes. Yes.
Oh, because like because where you're at, it's like an office building and there's different businesses.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, when we went back, not all the businesses were at the, in the building anymore.
Exactly.
Okay.
Many closed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely a sad thing that happened in Colombia with that. All right. So what else? I want to ask you about this because you told me that you were doing bowling. Are you still doing bowling?
Bowling?
Yeah, you're still doing bowling? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, bowling. Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yes.
Yeah, because a few months ago, Sebastian told me, this seemed kind of random. He said, "I'm doing bowling now." I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "I'm taking classes."
But not right now. Not right now.
No, like you're not taking classes, or you're not bowling?
No, not right now. I was taking. Yes, in the past, classes. But right now, no, just.
But what about playing just for fun? Are you still playing just for fun?
Maybe the weekends. Yes.
Yeah, for me, bowling is an interesting sport because I think in Canada, United States, it's getting less and less popular. Like I remember my town had a bowling alley, but it closed, I think, about 10 years ago because nobody wanted to go bowling anymore. But in Latin America, it still seems pretty popular. Even here, I'm in Buenos Aires right now, Sebastian, and I've seen a few bowling places and they seem really popular. So for me, it's a little bit surprising to see bowling still thriving, still prospering, still being successful in Latin America.
Would you like to learn about bowling?
No.
Why?
Oh, it's just, for example, the Colombians love vallenato, and vallenato uses the accordion. So for Gringos, when we see an accordion, the first thing that we think about is old people music, because the only music that used the accordion for us when we were kids growing up was the waltz and polka, which actually I think is the the European aspect of vallenato is from polka or waltz, same as it with banda in Mexico. It came from the Germans, a few German immigrants. They went to Latin America and introduced the accordion to Latinos, and the Latinos mixed it with a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, so for young gringos, the accordion, just like, ooh, accordion, old people. Oh no, I don't want to listen to anything with the accordion. So yeah, for me as a gringo, for example, when I was in Cartagena and you see the costeños, they're on the accordion, they're playing it like it's the electric guitar, like just, and for me, this seems so weird because I would never ever see that in Canada or the United States. So with bowling, same thing. For bowling, most gringos view it as, oh, that's for old people. That's for, old men, 65 years old. They have a bad back. Like, ugh.
Yeah, in Colombia it's the
sports.
same. In Colombia,
the same thing.
It's a family plan.
It's like more of a family sport. So like if somebody invites me to go bowling, I'll go bowling. I still know how to roll the ball and all that. But no, it's one of those, I guess, taboo things. If you're a little bit younger, it's like, no, I cannot play bowling. I'm gonna look not cool. I'm gonna look uncool if I play bowling.
Mm-hmm.
So just so for you guys to know, anybody watching this, that's the gringo opinion about bowling.
Yeah, but the technique, but the goal is the technique. Is the technique?
Yeah.
Not much the strength of the strength.
The strength, it's not about strength, it's about technique. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's about technique.
Yeah, small guys, big guys, anybody can do bowling. Because were you doing I think I asked you, were you doing the 10 pin or doing the 5 pin? How many pins were there, 5 or 10?
10.
10 pin? Okay.
10.
So is the big ball was the 3 holes, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, the one I played when I was a kid was 5 pin and had the small ball. The small ball, you just put in your hand and throw it like that. Yeah. All right. And is there anything else that you do in your free time, Sebastian, that I don't know about? I think it's mostly, that's what I know, bowling. And you like to go with your girlfriend and drink beers with your friends. That's what Sebastian always told me for his weekends. He said,
with some friends, hang out with some friends. Sometimes I go to the cinema alone,
of course,
by myself.
Actually,
I really enjoy it.
For me, that's normal. But yeah, sometimes Latinos, they'll give me a weird face, like you went to the cinema by yourself. Do your friends ever think you're weird because you go to the cinema by yourself?
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Just go by yourself.
They watch me like you are you're like a weirdo.
Yeah, you're a weirdo. Yeah, you're a weirdo. Why are you going by yourself? Yeah?
Like a weirdo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you see John Wick yet?
John Wick? No.
Do you want to see it or no? It's not your type of movie.
Maybe next week.
Maybe. Okay.
Yes, I watched The Wheel.
The Wheel. I don't know.
The Wheel. It's a really sad movie.
Yeah, I never heard about
with the same actor to the.
Oh, the whale.
The Whale.
Ah, the Whale. Yeah. With Brendan Fraser. And he's obese. Yeah. I didn't know. Well, I didn't watch the movie, but I watched a video review of the movie, and they were saying he was an English teacher, but doesn't show his face. So I saw that and I said, "That's my future. I'm going to be an obese Canadian teaching English on a computer. That's what I'm going to do in my."
But I think you care about your physical.
But who knows, Sebastian? Maybe I'll marry a woman and then she'll die all of a sudden, and then I'll go into depression and I'll get fat. I'm not too sure. You never know what's gonna happen. So hopefully it doesn't happen to me. Fingers crossed. All right. Well, let's move on to some questions about the classes that you took with me for a while. Let's talk about you learning English. So when did you start learning English? I'm guessing based on what the other Colombians told me, that you probably started in, was it elementary school or high school? When did you start learning English?
High school, because in elementary you learn some basic things, colors, animals, numbers. Yes,
ABCs, the basic stuff. All right. those classes seem pretty easy. And then in high school, they started giving you more advanced topics.
Yeah, music, YouTube videos, movies. Yeah.
Okay. Because it kind of depends on which high school you go to in Latin America. And you said that your high school had a student newspaper. So did your high school, did it have good English instruction, good English classes, or for you, they weren't the best?
Kind of. Nah, it's not. I think the professor, the teacher, was pretty, I don't know, bored with the methodology. The methodology was bored.
So, okay, the methodology was boring and the teacher wasn't the most exciting. All right, so it wasn't a great experience. And when you graduated from high school, what would you say your level was? Was it, I don't know, was it like 0.1? Was it beginner level? Were you able to have a conversation? How good was your English when you graduated from high school?
In Colombia, is A1.
Okay, no, yeah, A1. Okay, A1. So you had about A1 level of English when you graduated?
A1, yes, A1.
Okay, all right. And then you went to university. So Central University, do they require you to study English, or is it more something that you can do if you want to? It's not required.
I think English is part of the curriculum. The curriculum, yes. I had to approve the grades to graduate, to get the degree.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, if you want to get the degree, you had to get, how many courses did you have to take? Was it 4, 6, 8? How many English courses?
Around six.
Six English courses? All right. And you had to pass each one to get your degree. All right. And yeah, so, and what about the classes or the courses there? Were they good courses? Were they okay courses? Were they bad courses? How would you describe your instruction there?
Only one. Yeah. In the British Council.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because that wasn't at university. That was something you did on the side, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because the British Council is pretty famous. Usually, when it comes to Latin America, they say it's one of the best institutes, if not the best institute in Latin America. So you did that. You did that while you were in university, or after graduating?
After graduating.
After graduating. So yeah, in university, like they taught you English, but it wasn't the best instruction in the world. You just basically just had to go through the courses to get the degree, but it wasn't anything spectacular.
Yes, there aren't native teachers, just Colombian teachers.
Colombian teachers, yeah, and they're not always the best. All right, but then you went to British Council. So yeah, I'm curious because British Council, like I said, is known for being one of the best English institutes in Latin America. So you had a good experience in the British Council?
Yeah, the best experience. The methodology, teachers. I think it's pretty expensive.
Yeah,
pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. So how long did you?
The teachers was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. And how long did you spend there? Was it a few months, a year?
2 years.
2 years at the British Council. Where's their location? Is the location? Oh no, that's Colombo Americano is downtown, right? And then British Council, is it downtown as well, or is it a different location?
British Council is over 7th Avenue. 7th Avenue.
Okay, 7th Avenue.
7th Avenue. 75 with 7th Avenue. I don't know.
So that's Chapinero, isn't it?
Chapinero, right?
Okay, so it's Chapinero. Okay.
El Lago.
Okay, no, I think I have seen it. I can't remember. Okay, I think I have seen it. When I go back to Bogotá, I'm pretty sure I'll say, oh yeah, that's where the British Council is. All right. So you did classes there. So that'd be what, from 2016 to 2018 or something like that?
28. 2 years after graduate to the university.
Graduating from university. Yeah, so 28. Yeah, so 2016 to 2018?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So 2 years there. And so you finished at British Council. Is that when you started taking classes with me? Or did you have a break between British Council and...
No?
Okay.
Next.
All right. So you went straight to me. So at that point, you spent 2 years at British Council. Yeah, where was your English level at that point before you came to me? Because you started pre-intermediate classes with me. That's where you started. But from your own perspective, or based on what the British Council told you, where was your English level when you left the institute?
I think B1, B plus,
B1?
B1, B plus. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. And at the time, what were some of the biggest challenges you were having? Was it pronunciation? Was it writing? Was it reading? Was it speaking? What were the biggest challenges you were
Definitely
having?
my pronunciation. Yes.
Pronunciation. Yeah.
It was really confused to me. It was really confused to me, the pronunciation.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious because British Council, they teach British. Yeah, did they teach you British English, or did they teach you like standard American English in British Council?
It's a mix. You can find
you
can find American teachers and English teachers.
Yeah. Because it's called British Council, but from what I've heard, it's not completely British. They try to be a little bit balanced. Okay, but still, so you had teachers from the United States, from Britain, but the pronunciation.
South
Africa too. Yeah. All right. But still, even after 2 years, the pronunciation was difficult for you.
That was difficult. Yes, the British pronunciation is pretty difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for you, the American English is easier than British English.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know how to explain, but for me, it's easier.
Okay. Yeah. Some people tell me, British English is easier. Some people say American English. Yeah. Probably just depends on your perspective. All right. So you say it's easier. That's good to hear. And then you start taking classes with me, and the biggest issue was pronunciation. Is that the main reason you started taking classes with me? Was because of the pronunciation, or was it more just a general interest in learning English? And if your pronunciation got better, you were going to be happy.
Maybe my pronunciation, yes, to improve my pronunciation, and to looking for a new methodology, maybe. Yeah,
something different.
A creative methodology.
Okay. Well, because like you said, the British Council, they have a very good methodology, but even then you're saying I want something, obviously much different than the typical Colombian methodology that they have in the high schools and universities, but also something a little bit different than the British Council. Well, because with the British Council, you said they had a good methodology, but was it focused on one thing? Like, was it very grammar focused, or was it very dialogue focused, or was it a good mixture of a little bit of everything, a little bit of listening?
Yes, a mixture. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're looking for something creative. And well, before we get into if you thought my classes were creative or not, was there a single thing that I said or did during a video on Instagram or YouTube, or did you do a test class? Was there something that I did or I said that made you say, okay, I think these classes could be interesting, I want to try them out?
Yeah, definitely Instagram post.
Instagram post,
and YouTube videos. The way you explain any topic, for me, that was easier to understand. That's why I decided to take your classes.
Okay. Yeah. So you just like the way I taught. Okay. That's good to hear. All right. Now, I believe that my classes are very unique, but I want to know your own perspective. So you start taking my classes. Were you shocked by the classes? Were you pleased with how I did the classes? Because, sometimes students, the first month of classes, it's quite different from regular institutes. Some students have told me I didn't know what to think about it in the first month. Is this too crazy? This is kind of strange. This isn't what I'm used to. But yeah, during your first month, what was your impression of the classes? Did you like it? Did you think it was a little bit strange? What did you think?
I was really confused.
Yeah? Okay.
Because I was really confused because your accent.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, you talk very fast sometimes.
Okay.
You talk very fast sometimes. That was difficult to getting used to. But yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Okay, so
that was a challenge. That was a challenge. That was a challenge.
Okay. But the challenge was more my accent, or also the classes, like the classes and the accent, or was it just the accent that was very difficult to get used to? Both?
Both.
All right. Yeah, because you start with pre-intermediate, and obviously with pre-intermediate level, yeah, listening is still a struggle for a lot of students. Yeah, and yeah, it's interesting that you said it because some students have told me that I speak English very slowly. But yeah, you're one of the students who told me, oh, you spoke English very quickly. But at the same time, you started with pre-intermediate. And like I just said, usually pre-intermediates, the listening is still being developed. So yeah, it makes sense that my accent was a little bit difficult. Yeah, because compared to the British Council, like the British Council teachers, did they speak slower than me, or was it just they had a little bit different of an accent? You were used to their accent, but you weren't used to my accent.
No, I think they speak super quickly, super quickly.
Okay, so even they spoke quickly as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And,
So yeah,
for example, at Monday you can find a man from Ireland, and Wednesday you can find a man from London, and that was difficult because you never getting used to a unique accent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And for me, that's, as a teacher, I don't really like it when students get too many dialects, too many accents, because it's very confusing. Because I learned Spanish, and yeah, if I even just in Colombia, you go to Cali and they speak very differently than people in Bogotá, and if you go to Barranquilla, they speak completely different than people in Bucaramanga. So if you're constantly getting different teachers from different parts of a country or the world, it can be a little bit frustrating for a student because they're constantly having to change what they're listening to and the vocabulary that the person is using. So yeah, it makes sense. That would be a little bit frustrating. Now, my accent was difficult to understand at first. Some students have told me that after taking the classes for a while, they start to listen well. Was that your case after a few months that you were able to start understanding my accent?
Yes. Yes, definitely. And the history, the classes
the story classes?
The story classes helped me a lot.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in 1 second. Because you might not remember, because you've been in my class for a while, but do you remember about how many months? Because like, did it take 1 month, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months? How many months did it take you to get used to the accent?
I think 5 months after.
5 months is what you
said? Beginning the classes. Okay.
Well, that can obviously be very frustrating. Was there a reason that you kept on going with the classes? Because some people, they'll be frustrated, like, I don't understand what he's saying. English isn't for me. I give up. Was there a particular reason that you kept on going? Was it just because the classes were fun, or was it because you told yourself, no, you're going to take classes until you reach a certain level of English? Yeah, what kept you going when you were having problems listening?
At the beginning, I was really frustrated about the grammar classes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The grammar classes.
Was that the movie talk classes where I would like take a set?
Just playing the class based on a video. But there was a basic, an easy video. It can be like an anime video or with toys or something like that.
Yeah. Those are my grammar classes. So yeah, somebody might hear this and say, "Oh, you teach grammar classes." Yeah, it's like grammar, but at the same time, I think the reason it's frustrating for, I think not only for Sebastian, for many students, is because what happens in those classes is, I give you guys a sentence and I just start question. And so basically, it's kind of like working out at the gym. It's just, she's like, if you're at the gym and you're getting so many repetitions, you get tired after a while. And obviously with you guys, sometimes there'd be a question that'd be similar to another question, and you would answer it wrong, and I say, no, I didn't ask that. Like, oh, what did you ask? So yeah, it's a very, it's good exercise, obviously, but it's definitely a frustrating class for the students, especially if they're not catching on as fast as they want to catch on. All right. So that was the other thing that was frustrating. Yeah, but again, so was there anything that you told yourself that motivated you to keep on taking classes? Was it, again, like, did you have a goal in your head that you said, I'm going to take classes with Profe Kyle for 1 year? or the classes were really fun, so you kept on taking them, or were you feeling you were making progress, so you kept on taking classes? Because yeah, if somebody's watching this, if somebody wants to stop taking classes, they can stop taking classes whenever they want. And actually, Sebastian, he took a break, I think twice. Like he went on vacation or something like that, so he took a break twice. So if somebody wants to stop taking classes, they can stop taking classes. But yeah, so in your case, yeah, what made you keep on taking classes? Because obviously you were frustrated, but you kept on taking classes. So yeah, what pushed you to go forward?
Like I said at the beginning, my big challenge was my pronunciation.
Okay.
Maybe that was the reason to keep on and continue with your classes. Maybe with your pronunciation classes, that was pretty good for my knowledge. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah. So because I don't do pronunciation classes every class. There's only one class per month. And of course, there's the music classes as well. So I guess there's 2 pronunciation classes per month. But yeah, you were happy with what you were learning in those classes. And that really motivated you to keep on taking the classes, because yeah, you felt like you were going to get better pronunciation if you kept on doing those classes. Okay. All right, good. Now with the methodology, what was the biggest surprise? Because obviously you wanted to get better at pronunciation, but I have a whole bunch of different classes. Maybe what were some of the surprises with the classes? You kind of already talked about one with the grammar class, which is probably different than anything else you've experienced. But were there any other surprises in the classes that shocked you when you first started doing them?
Definitely histories classes.
Oh yeah.
So that was the most. Okay. The most entertaining stories.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, that's good. A Colombian journalist, he enjoys my stories.
Yeah.
Well, so I put a lot of work into my stories. I like my stories, and I like it when my students like my stories. But maybe explain to somebody, because obviously not many teachers write their own stories for their students. So explain to somebody, what are my stories like? What makes them special? And yeah, how do I use stories to teach English?
Yeah, this is the most exciting, because you base on a students' stories. Yes, yeah. This is the most exciting.
Yeah, so what happens is, let's say there's a class, I got Sebastian, maybe Sebastian tells me a crazy story. And when my students are Latinos, there's always crazy stories, because Latin America is a crazy place. So yeah, usually students will tell me stories, and I'll think, that'll be a good story. And then from that story, I can teach this vocabulary. I can teach this aspect of grammar. I can teach this dicho gringo that we like to say in everyday life. So I'm able to integrate pretty much everything into one story.
Yes.
All right. So that's the biggest reason that you like. Was there other reasons you like the story classes? Or was it mostly just the stories were really entertaining, and because they were entertaining, you learned a lot?
The exciting, maybe the vocabulary. You use sometimes a basic vocabulary, sometimes a colloquial vocabulary about American culture. This is cool, because you know more about culture, American culture. Is cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of methodologies, they never focus on the culture, and for me, it's important, and it's also very interesting. That's one reason why I kept on learning Spanish, was because whenever they taught me about Latinos, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I want to keep learning Spanish. So yeah, for me, putting culture into the classes is very important, to keep you guys motivated, to keep you guys interested, and to show you that Gringos aren't just Latinos who speak English. We, different mentality, different culture, all of that.
And you use the same methodology to the presentation classes. You explain certain way the American culture. For example, at the end of the year, you explain more about the how do you say, like a cena Navidad? I don't remember.
Christmas dinner.
Christmas tree. Yes, you explain more about that.
Yeah, exactly. I want you guys to be able to understand this. And yeah, who knows? Maybe Sebastian isn't going to talk to gringos every day. But at the same time, from my own experience with Latinos, if you're able to talk about their culture, Latinos are more willing to talk to you. And yeah, I always tell you guys, always tell my students that, yeah, if you can find something in common or you can talk about something that gringos like, then they're usually going to treat you better. They're usually going to be friendlier with you, and you'll have much better experiences in English if you know a little bit about the culture as well. And you're unique because you started in pre-intermediate and then you went to intermediate. And you talked about the stories. For me, the pre-intermediate stories are easier than the intermediate stories. When I made the switch and I put you from pre-intermediate to intermediate, was it a big jump? Was it very difficult to make the transition, or was it easy? How would you describe the transition?
That was frustrating. That was frustrating because the vocabulary, the structure, the grammar structure, the context. It was difficult to get the context. Maybe in the pre-intermediate history is easier to get the context. In intermediate is more difficult.
Yeah, exactly. The more advanced topics, more advanced vocabulary, so it's definitely more difficult. Yeah. Well, and were you able to get comfortable? Well, you can tell me the truth. Like, were you frustrated because you're doing classes until a few months ago? Like, were you always frustrated, or was it very similar to the pre-intermediate where you started out a little bit frustrated because you didn't understand everything, but with time it got easier and easier and easier?
I think depend to the story.
Okay.
Depend to the story, because there were histories with more basic vocabulary or colloquial vocabulary that was easier to understand. But there are histories about more advanced vocabulary that was difficult.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it depends on the class. Yeah. And I think as a teacher, I notice that too. Or sometimes I give you guys a very more advanced reading to do in class, and yeah, I knew like, oh, this is going to be a difficult class for them, but gotta give them all types of English.
And that was good because it's a good way to challenge them, to challenge us.
Yeah, to challenge you guys. Yeah, exactly. To give you guys, different ways that English is spoken or different ways that English is written. Yeah. Yes. All right. Let's see. I think we're getting close to the end here. Now, pronunciation, because that's the biggest thing we wanted to improve. And yeah, I would definitely say I should probably do this where I should find, because I record all my classes, so I probably could find, the first class that you ever did and just take the video of you speaking in English and, compare it to now, and your pronunciation would be, much better. Because I don't remember clearly, but I do remember, even for me as a teacher with you, in the beginning, it was like, okay, so, okay, I got a lot to teach Sebastian. Sebastian has a lot to learn about pronunciation. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but we're gonna do as best as we can. And I would say, your pronunciation is very neutral now in English. I'm very impressed with your pronunciation. Even some of the other students. I remember one time, you might remember Fernanda, the Venezuelan from Miami. Yeah, you weren't in the class, and we were just talking. She said, Sebastian, he's improved a lot, because I think she took classes with you for a few months, and she said, oh, he's improved a lot. So lots of people noticed that you were improving your English. So is that, I think the answer to the question is, the thing that improved the most in the classes was your pronunciation. But in your own words, what improved the most in the classes? Was it pronunciation, or were there a lot of other things that improved as well?
I think the pronunciation and the speaking.
Yeah.
The speaking and a little bit the fluency.
The fluency?
The fluency, sorry. The fluency.
Okay. And fluency in the sense of like you're not thinking as much before you speak, or fluency as in when you do speak, you're not stumbling over your words, you're not stuttering, it's very smooth.
Maybe when you make your own opinion, maybe in that context.
Like you feel more confident talking about whatever you want or giving an opinion about something.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. So speaking of pronunciation, and let's talk a little bit about pronunciation specifically, because I would say I'm one of the few people that like really teaches pronunciation. It's sometimes hard to find. I know from my own experience, it's hard to find, a Latino teacher to teach me Colombian or Mexican pronunciation. So how would you describe how I teach pronunciation now? What do I do? Do you like it? What were some techniques? How did I explain things? Explain to the people how I go about pronunciation for Latinos.
The most creative way that I ever seen before, teacher. The most creative.
Yeah. I think creative names. Yeah, creative names for the sounds. Creative explanations for it as well. Yes, for sure. So I definitely explain things. I explain things in a Latino way, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you do a pretty cool thing that is you push us to better according to pass the classes.
Oh, what? What do you mean by like pass the classes? Do you mean like pass the classes like? Because if somebody hears pass the classes, they might think to get a grade. But when you say pass the classes, does it mean like during the classes I'm really pushing you guys to get that perfect pronunciation?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, so you're trying to say like, I'm not laid back. I'm not going to say, oh, that's good enough. Okay, yeah, Sebastian, yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. If I find a sound that I don't like, and I think with you, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Again, I have to find the first pronunciation class you ever did. But I think in the beginning, well, maybe you remember, what was the one sound that you had difficulties with in the beginning? I think it was the R. Was it the R that you were having problems with in the beginning?
R, I don't remember. Maybe the R. The R or the schwa. The schwa.
Maybe the schwa. The schwa takes time.
The schwa.
I think it might have been the R. I remember with you, it took a few months to try to get you to stop pronouncing the R like a Latino. And so for me, one thing that makes me proud is that you're speaking English right now, and you never pronounce the R like a Latino. You pronounce the R like a Gringo every single time. So that's mission accomplished. But yeah, so you would say I definitely push you guys to get a neutral accent.
Yes.
I really find the things that you guys are having problems with, and I force you guys to improve it, to try to get as close to neutral as possible. All right, good. Well, you're in Bogotá. I'm just curious. Have you been able to use your English a lot in Bogotá? Because obviously, like, you're talking to me, and you're now at a fluent level of English. Like, obviously it's not native level, but you're now able to express yourself. Have you been able to use your English in any context yet? Have you met a gringo downtown or something, and you've been able to use your English, or not quite yet?
In the downtown, close to the Museo del Oro.
Okay, yeah.
There are many gringos. There are
many gringos in Candelaria. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Candelaria. Yeah.
And what, like, do you talk to them? Do they talk to you, or do you go to a bar downtown and there's gringos and you talk to them?
They ask me for directions.
Yeah.
For directions, or they were looking for about places, famous places, and yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so far, you're giving good directions. They're happy with the directions that you give. All right. That's
and the last Tuesday, visit 85 Avenue to Tuesday Gringos.
Oh, you went to Gringo Tuesdays, yeah?
Gringo Tuesdays, right?
Huh? Did you like it? Or no? It's okay.
No. Many people.
Some people like it, some people don't like it.
Yeah. Many people. The group is 20 person.
Oh, like in the table there were 20 people.
Yeah, many people for me.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and if there's not enough gringos, then there's too many people, then you're not gonna speak that much. Yeah, sometimes they do a good job of making small groups, but yeah, sometimes you get those big giant groups of 20 people, and you're not able to.
Yes, and the
speak
purpose of that kind of space is the feedback of the native of the native teacher.
The native speaker. Exactly.
And it's too difficult to the teacher to give you feedback because
for sure.
many people.
I still think it's probably the best language exchange in Latin America, but for me as a teacher, I think there's definitely ways to improve it, to make it much better for the people that go to it, for sure. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you because I didn't know if you were able to use your English or not. Because in Bogotá, you don't need to use English. Well, actually, I should ask you that. I didn't ask you that yet. Is there a reason that you're learning English? Because you're working at the newspaper. You don't need to use English when you're writing articles. Is there a specific reason that you're doing this, or is it just personal interest? You want to learn English?
No, personal interest. So don't forget. Because if you don't practice, you in the future maybe you would forget. You lost fluency.
You lose fluency.
You lost vocabulary. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes sense. All right, good. And maybe the last question that I have for you is because I'm always frustrated when I have to tell Latinos about my methodology, because I don't know how to describe my methodology, and Latinos always want to know, like, Profe, tell me about your methodology. And I say, I don't know how to describe it. So I make you guys describe it for me. So in your own words, 1 or 2 sentences, if you were telling a friend about the Profe Kyle methodology, how would you describe it in 1 or 2 sentences?
Okay. He tries to do the best methodology to create a new methodology, a creative methodology to impact in the knowledge of the age students.
I like that. Because you took the group classes, and sometimes people, they'll think group classes, they might think it's something like the language exchange at Gringo Tuesdays, where it's just a whole bunch of people. You're never going to have an opportunity to talk. The teacher can't give you feedback. But from your own experience in my classes, and I try to do it with you guys, is I try to give you guys as much personal feedback as possible. Like, obviously there's not a private one-on-one session after the class. It's always one group of people. But when I do a writing class, I'm giving you feedback on your writing. When we do pronunciation, I give you feedback on your pronunciation. So from your own experience, when you took the classes, you didn't feel like you were just one student out of a whole bunch of students and that you were lost. You felt like you were given the right amount of attention to personally improve weaknesses that only you had.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure about this question.
Like you got, because in your own words you said you got good feedback, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, because at Gringo Tuesdays, like you said, you go, you don't get any feedback from the gringos that are there, and you don't really get an opportunity to speak. But in my classes, you always felt like you got feedback from me, and you were able to improve, like, yourself, right? Because sometimes in language classes, the teacher, he'll give advice for everybody, but he doesn't give advice for the individual students. But in my classes, you got the individual advice that you needed to improve your English, right?
Maybe I remember about writing. Maybe
writing,
told me about my writing was getting better. Yes. That was cool. To me, it's very difficult to create a sentences. And that was sentences make sense because it's difficult.
For sure. Difficult. Well, for me, it's interesting because you're a journalist, so you have to write every week. But obviously, maybe, I don't know if you have an opinion about this, but would you say it's very different writing in Spanish and writing in English? Because you had to write in English for me a lot. Was it very different for you?
Yes.
Or was it just, different languages? So that's the reason why it was different? Or were there also other things that were very different about writing?
I think it's different because, for example, in Spanish, you use a different way, the comma.
Exactly.
Yeah, in English.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You, for example, in English, you don't use semicolon.
Sometimes, but I don't
In
personally
Spanish,
use it that much.
Use a lot semicolon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, there's a few things. I still don't quite know how to write in Spanish like a true Latino. So it's definitely different writing styles. All right, good. Well, Sebastian, I think those are all the questions I had. I don't know, is there anything else you want to add? Anything that people need to know about learning English with Profe Kyle?
No more, teacher. Really enjoy any kind of your classes. I really enjoy.
Good. All right. So anyways, everybody, this was Sebastian from Bogota, one of my fantastic students. And of course, if anybody wants information about the classes, go to my website, Sebastian. Thank you very much for sitting down with me. I'll let you go rest in your new apartment, let you enjoy it. Looks like it has a decent view. And we'll talk soon in the future. Okay, Sebastian?
Okay. Thank you, teacher, for having me. Thank you.
Bye, Sebastian.
Bye, teacher.